The way a rod bends, or its action or its taper, come into play probably primarily in two places. One is delivering a lure, and the other is pulling hard on a fish. When it comes to delivering a lure, the faster the taper is, the flatter trajectory it's capable of achieving, and also the more quickly it achieves acceleration. So if I wanted to throw a real flat, accurate cast, a shorter rod in combination with a real quick taper, but on casts with a higher trajectory, or if my acceleration was so fast it was causing backlashes, a flatter, more parabolic taper would be better. Once you've gotten the lure to the fish, you often have to be able to work it. If a rod is too soft, when you give your lure a snap, it may not jump the way you need it to. But by the same token, if it's too stiff, you might overpower the lure. If we're using a heavy lead sinker, we need a rod that's stiff enough that when I lift it, it holds out at soon enough point that I can get the lead off the bottom and then drop it down and know where it is. Which brings me to the second point, feel. What feel is a function of, really, if you took your rod away, you'd have more feel. No rod at all gives you the most sensitivity, just a hand line. The rod actually takes sensitivity away from the line and transfers it into the rod. It's like a vibration sink. So it stands to reason. A rod with the highest stiffness to weight ratio, without sacrificing strength, that can be made as light as possible, is going to be the most sensitive. But the most sensitive of all is to actually place your finger on the tip, on the line, whether it's with a spinning rod or a bait casting rod. That will give you the most sensitivity. Now, from a standpoint of setting the hooks, these sort of actions come into play. It's got to do with linear distance. As I move this rod with a faster tip, it loads more quickly, so I get a shock. If I've got a rod that bends down into the butt, I have to move it a long way before it loads. So that distance is greater, I get more of a boing than a shock. When it comes to landing a fish, another compromise has to be made. If I don't have to worry about how strong my line is, what I want to do is have my rod bend down and gain leverage advantage. If I'm worried about my line breaking, I need a rod to absorb power, and I need a rod also when a fish shakes his head, he doesn't give me slack.